Hello, Professor Classy.
Good morning. How are
So
you?
I'm doing good. Okay, so when it comes to this project thing, I'm having a little bit of a difficult time trying to figure out how it like connects to my field and what I should focus on. So that's what I was
Okay.
going to ask you today.
Oh,
Um,
good. Well, I think when I go over this very beginning, it will help you a lot.
okay,
So
cool.
then we can get more specific.
All right,
So,
cool. Thank you.
yeah, I'm going to share a couple sample projects with you, so
Okay,
you can see them, and I think that'll help.
perfect.
Because you're interested in criminal justice, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. How's everybody doing on Thursday? It is Thursday, right? Good. Sometimes it's troubling. I can't remember. It's Thunderbird Thursday. All right. So today is going to be an awesome work day. I had a great work day with the class before you. I think a lot of them are feeling a little bit better about their projects and that they're on their way and they're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel that we're getting really close to being finished. So that's really good. So first, let's talk about what's going on. So on campus, well, not on campus, but virtually, um, uh, some of you are graduating at the end of this, yeah? And you're excited. Is anyone doing the drive-through graduation? Anyone doing it? It's okay if you're not. Oh, you
Is
did?
that
Yeah,
the
maybe.
is that the only one that they're doing? They're not doing like a normal in-person one, right?
I know, isn't that terrible? I
Yeah.
really wish we were. Now, if you haven't heard about it, you can get more info from here. But it also says the next time they hold an in-person ceremony, they'll let everybody know who missed them because they had drive-through ceremonies. So if you wanted to attend that one, you could. The other thing is look at movement and discussion. That starts at noon today. There's a dance alum here that he's going to share his story of becoming a successful dancer, film editor, and artist. So I know some of you are artists, some of you might even be dancers. I'm not sure. I'm remembering way back to our initial videos. Like, I'm like, did we have dancers in here? I can't remember. But you can that sounds like a great thing. So you could RSVP there and go to that. We also have the dance showcase coming up. Our MCC dance program is fascinating and fun to watch. So you could go to that on May 7th. And then how could you not go to a show called You're in Town? I'm just saying, right? Has anyone seen this musical before? I have not, but I'm a huge fan of musicals. I love, love, love musicals, let me tell you. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be buying one device only, $15 for the musical, the satirical comedy that premiered in 2001 that satirizes the legal system, capitalism, social irresponsibility, populism, bureaucracy, corporate mismanagement, and municipal politics. That sounds great. Yeah. Anybody else going to do it with their friends? Like, you just get it, buy it on one device, $15. You have two friends, that would be okay, right? $5 a piece. That's a good entertainment, man. Okay, so I'm going to do it. I hope you guys are too. I think it would be amazing. And just with a name like Urinetown, I was asking my kids, I'm like, do you want to watch it? And they're like, no, sounds like people will be urinating. I'm like, I don't think that's what the show is about. Like, I think it's different. So I'm willing to risk it. I'm just saying, if you've never seen one of MCC's shows, MCC shows are outstanding. You were in a musical, Matt? What musical were you in?
Well, it was like the grand play for the end of school, like in high school, but it was called Pom Pom Zombies, and it was like Grease, but with zombies, basically is the best way I can describe it. So I was a cheerleader. Yeah. So
Nice. Well, Matt, I learned something new about you today. I'm very excited. That's awesome.
I'm an actor, yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we have a lot of good stuff going on. So this is just a little bit of it. If you need more info on other things that are going on, I link the Thunderbird newsletter in my updates and announcements. So if you go to updates and announcements, you can see all of this information linked. Okay. So happy Thunderbird Thursday. And I can't wait to discuss the musical. Okay, and maybe the dance show. I feel like I have something to do on Friday at 8 o'clock. That's why I wasn't saying I could go to the dance, and I can't go to movement and discussion because I have a class at noon. So, bummer. But maybe you guys can. So let's just refresh our memories of what's going on. These are the biggies that you have left, right? You have lots of littles left, right? Like reading quizzes, mini lessons, assignments. You don't have a lot of them left, but you have a few of them left that are important. But then you have your finance test coming up at the end of next week. You have your vehicle project that will be due on Monday. Let me see if I can guess the date. Monday, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the 10th, May 10th. And then your final exam presentation will be on either Wednesday, May 12th or Monday, May 17th. And I'm seeing if I can put up a little form so you can sign up for time slots on that. Okay. So those are the biggies you have left. The little ones are important too, but these are the ones you definitely need to do well on. So we're going to talk about your project today. It's always important to review the rubric, practice your presentation, and definitely review your mathematics. If your mathematics is wrong in the presentation, your grade will not be great, right? So you can take the mathematics to me to review. You can ask your classmates. You can bring them to the tutoring center to help you, right? There's lots of options on checking your mathematics. I was talking to some other groups about this little form. But I'm going to be specific. I'm going to share my screen a different way. I'm going to share with you because I think some of you, I'm just guessing, some of you are still a little iffy on how do I relate this to my program of study. Am I right? Anyone in that boat? Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to show you 3 examples. Okay, and they're very different, so it can help you. Okay, so just a second. Can you see my screen? Does it say conversions and dental hygiene on it? Okay, excellent. So this is one of a former project. We talked about dimensional analysis and unit conversions, which we haven't talked about quite yet. We will right after finance for just a day or maybe a day and a half. But so talking about the metric system and measuring things. And so this student was relating it to their program of study. And they were specifically talking about dental hygiene. So they said, you know, you might have to take measurements on things like anesthesia dosage, temporary fillings or sealants. You might need to mix materials that use the metric system in their instructions. So their example was you work in a dentist's office and you have to figure out the maximum dosage of anesthesia, in particular it was lidocaine, to provide a patient before their cavity filling. So then they have an example where they have this patient weighs this many pounds and is this old, and they showed how the mathematics worked to get their numbers, okay? And then they have their solution, and they talk about why it's important, and then they have their sources on the last slide. So this was how it relates to dental hygiene. Then I had a student who was into computers, specifically network administration. So very, very different than dental hygiene, right? And they said that they were looking at financing and loan options for a small business, specifically looking at solving applications involving loans and amortizations. So they have Ben's Best Builds, and they're talking about everybody wants Ben to build them a computer. So, and they talk about routers and switches. So this is more probably what my student was more passionate about, the actual computer part of it, right? So we looked at the cost of the commercial equipment and the totals. Then he looked up some microloans on how you could do this. And, you know, he explained what a microloan is and what you have to qualify for a microloan. It's up to $50,000. Interest rates are about 10 to 18%, and it's 10 to 15-year financing. And then he compared two loans, Bank One and Bank Two, okay? And you can see all of his data there. And then he said, how do we use the TVM solver? So he has an explanation of how to use the TVM solver and what each piece means. And then he has Bank One and all his mathematics, and Bank Two and all his mathematics, and he just screenshotted the TVM solver in there. And then he compared them. Notice he calculated the total interest, and he said, well, Bank One is the better choice because of all these reasons. And then he has his citations of where he got his information from. So a very, very different presentation, right? This was all about computers and financing. Here I have another one. This one is even more different. This is specifically about comparing statistics using graphs and charts about how education level, race and ethnicity, and income distribution correlate to poverty. And this relates to her degree program because it was in social work, and she plans on working at a Title I school and helping disadvantaged children whose families are more than likely plagued by poverty. So then she teaches us a little bit about the different graphs, bar graphs, histograms, pie charts, gives us some examples of some statistics that she has of the number of people in poverty by race and origin. And then she has a bar graph for that information. And then describing the bar graph, right? And why it's a bar graph and not a histogram. And then she has another example about education and attainment and how it plays a role in poverty. And it lists some percentages. And then she showed them in a circle graph. And then she explains more of the circle graph. And then she reflects on her information and where she got her statistics from, the sources. Okay. So those are three very, very different projects. And I had more about a variety of other things. So what the idea of this project is to figure out, number one, what are you interested in? If you're undecided still, like if you haven't chosen a degree path, you might choose something like loans or financing, okay? Because that'll apply to you regardless of your chosen degree program. I had another student in a class. Has anyone heard of a savings program called YOTTA? Y-O-T-T-A. All right, me neither. But YOTTA is a program where, like, if you're getting just a savings account from a bank, you're getting virtually no interest, right? Like 0.01% interest. But this place called YOTTA has a raffle drawing that's part of it. So you put your money there, you're earning like 0.2% interest. And then, but there's ways you can win. So, and how it works, this is what the student described to me. You choose a number each day, for 6 days. And then on the 7th day, they choose a yada number. And so if you match all 6 of the numbers and the yada numbers, are you ready for this? You win $10 million. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, V. I love that. So, but what my student is concerned of course, my student is a little skeptical of this. And my student is also looking in what's the probability of winning that $10 million, right? Yeah. So that's a fascinating thing. So that just came up, right? Because he was like, I want to start investing some money. How can I make that money? I have another student who's interested in the homeless population because she's going to go into social work. So she wants to look at the homeless population specifically in Arizona. So she's going to use statistics and comparative statistics to look at those things. So does that help anyone get a little bit of an idea of what they're doing? All right. So does Brady said no. Brady, what are you interested in?
I'm confused. This is our final you're talking about?
Correct.
And what is it? It's a slideshow? I haven't seen anything posted on it. We have to make a
You haven't seen
slideshow?
anything posted on it because we went over it a whole day in class. And
Okay,
it's
I'm sorry.
in your modules, right? It's
What
under
module
final
is it?
presentation. It's called final exam or final presentation is called one of those. But I'm going to share it right now. I'm so happy, Brady, you weren't afraid to say that out loud because there's somebody else in class who feels the same as you. So don't worry about it. Let me show you what it looks like. So here's your final presentation.
Oh, at the bottom.
Here's what you choose from, right? So you can choose something from finance, something from statistics, something from probability. I have a couple people that are doing small businesses. And so they're talking about how to save money for their small business or how to do a small business startup. So that's fascinating. I have some people that are looking at probability. Okay. And then I have some people who are looking at statistics. So you choose one of the concepts from here. So for example, my networking student picked this one. Sorry, I picked this one. Solving applications involving loans and amortizations, right? My social work student chose this one. Organize, analyze, and display data using multiple representations. Probability, I didn't have somebody do it, but I don't have anybody interested in it right now. Oh, except for my student that just talked to me about that YADA savings, because they're going to be doing solving problems involving combinations and permutations and probabilities. So right here. So they're probably, you can do more than one. You only have to do one, right? But sometimes they bleed into another one, right? They have something to do with the other one. So you're going to choose one of those. You're going to relate it to whatever you're studying. So if you're studying social work, relate it to social work. If you're studying nursing, relate it to nursing. Brady, what are you studying? You don't know yet. Okay.
No, I'm just doing 2 years and then dipping. That's my plan.
Okay, so but what are you going to get your AA in? General studies?
Yeah, general studies, I guess.
Okay, you're scaring me, Brady. Like you need to talk to an advisor. Just so you know. Where are you going after your 2 year? Are you done with school? Or are you going to transfer?
These are really big questions, Miss Klassen.
They are big questions. They are big questions. So, and if you don't know, that's totally fine. But probably, Brady, if you don't know what something that most people are interested in is the finance module, because finance applies to all of us because we all have to have money at some point. Okay, so you can think about how can I save money or how much money will I earn, right? How much money do I want to save for retirement? All of these things apply to us. Okay, you could look at percentages because we did percentages as well. So after you do that, you're going to make a copy of our slideshow presentation that looks like this. And did you notice that not everybody used the same theme, right? You could change it to whatever you want, right? So, but you have to have a title, your name. You have to tell us what competency you're picking from the list, right? Explain it and how it relates to your program of study.
It can just be anything, basically. I just got to relate it to something.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to relate it. You're going to say, since I'm undecided, I don't have a program of study yet. So I'm going to relate it to my life in finance. And
Right.
some people,
Cool.
like, if you're doing nursing, maybe you're like, I don't really like that aspect of nursing that I want to talk about. I just want to talk about how much money I'm going to make as a nurse. And I'm going to compare a travel nurse to an ER nurse to a pediatric nurse to a nurse in New York City compared to a nurse in Omaha, Nebraska, right? So I can see, maybe make some life decisions. Where would I prefer to live? Where do I prefer to, work on nursing? So then you're going to teach the competency as if we don't understand it. So remember in the computer one, they taught us how to use the TVM solver and what that means. Ruki just asked a great question. Can you use PowerPoint? You can totally use PowerPoint. Totally fine. Just make sure you can share it with me. Okay. And you can share it on presentation day. Make sure you use correct vocabulary and notation. You can keep explaining it. You're going to have to introduce a new application problem, something we haven't seen before, right? That's particular to your program. You're going to solve it, and then you're going to have a conclusion to it, and then you're going to reflect. What did you learn by completing this project? Yeah? Okay. And then you might have, you're going to ask if we have questions, or you might have some citations. So it's a 5-minute presentation. You're either going to present on Wednesday, May 12th, or Monday, May 17th. And this presentation is worth 20% of your final grade. Yeah? So it's replacing a final exam. So you need to make sure your mathematics is correct, and you refer to this rubric, right? Which here's your rubric right here. So do you see mathematical accuracy is right here? And it's 30 points out of 60 points. So if your math is wrong, you're going to fail this project, which would make sense since it's a math class, right? So you need to make sure your mathematics is correct. You also get points for being an audience member, attending to precision, labeling things, answering questions that the audience asks or I ask after your presentation. You'll get points for presenting well, like, does your presentation make sense? Can we follow it? And then, did you include everything? Do you have a title slide, a name, the competency chosen from the list, your program of study, a unique math problem, a solution, and a conclusion? So does that help? Josh, did that help you narrow it down a little bit?
Just a bit. I'm still going to need like a little bit of help, but I got somewhat of an idea.
Nice. So, and I had students like go, I just know I'm interested in homelessness, but I'm not sure how to apply that to this. So then we talked about how we could do it. And this competency, we didn't cover like very specifically. It's in our compound interest, but we didn't talk about it as exponential growth. Right? So when we have a variable in our exponent, it's exponential growth. So if you're talking about like how homeless rates are changing or poverty is changing or incarceration rates, maybe you're interested in. I've had lots of people do studies on those. Especially now you have some pre-pandemic and, well, not post-pandemic, but maybe during pandemic information, right? So that might be fascinating to some of you. My whole point, I'm fine with the mathematics, right? My whole point is make it personal to you, right? Somehow get something out of this class other than, thank goodness I passed and I don't have to take math again, right? I'm hoping you get something out of it like, oh, maybe I could use any of this in my degree, in my future, in my life, right? Okay. So any questions on that?
I had a question.
Right. Yeah, I'm ready.
It's had 10 slides. Is that the amount of slides that we need to have, or could we have like more than 10 or maximum of 10?
I just did 10 slides, 30 seconds a slide, which would make it 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't care as long as you're at 5 minutes, right? Not more than 5 minutes. We don't have time for more than 5 minutes. And I don't know how you could do justice to it in less than 10 slides, just because of the information.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
Good question, Judith. Anyone else questions?
Wait, so will you, so when we're presenting, will you have the timer on and will you tell us like when we, like, what if we get too nervous and we pass the 5 minutes, will you like let us know?
Yeah, so the easiest way to do it is to set up your slideshow to automatically advance every 30 seconds. So then you know if you're going too slow, right? Because the slide will change and you'll be like, oh, guess I better speed up. That's the easiest way to do it. I will be timing, so I will have that for you. So, and I'll warn you. So, and other people, I have had people who are really nervous to talk, right? So they pre-record it. So, and you can pre-record and just put the audio there, right, into your slides. You still have to be here, but then at least you don't have to worry about timing. So that's another option too.
Okay, got it.
I had last semester when I did this, I had about half pre-record and half not pre-record. And then the semester before that, I only had about 2 pre-record and everybody else just did it live. So, Matt, question?
Yeah, is there a particular place where we can access the slide layout, like what each slide should look like?
Yeah, for sure. I'll put the link in the chat right now for you. It's in that final presentation stuff on modules in your class, but I will definitely put the link in right now for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and now what I want to do now, real quick, think about it. I'll give you all about a minute to think. Think about what your topic is and or what competency you're using. And it doesn't have to be set in stone. You can change your mind, but I just want to get an idea because what we're going to do is we're going to go around and I'm just going to ask each one of you to explain in very brief terms what you're doing so then other students can know what your project is. And maybe some of you choose to work together or at least have each other review your slides before you present, okay? So I'm going to give you a minute right now to think. And then we'll talk about it. All right, so I'll let you volunteer first to explain and then I'll call on people. So who would like to tell me what their project is? Tell the class what their project is. V, go for it.
So my field is anthropology, and I have I'm super at the beginning of it, and I don't know at all what it really entails. So I'm just gonna do the finance side and see what anthropologist makes, and then from that just figure out how much I want to have for retirement and how much I want to pull out monthly to live on.
That's a great project, V, because there's lots of different jobs that anthropologists could have. So maybe you don't just look at one or two, maybe you look at, as you do your research, you look at maybe 3 or 4 different career choices and see how much they make. And then you might go, after I researched these, I chose this one, and that's what I based my finance off of.
That's what I'm gonna go with.
I think that sounds great. That's an awesome idea. All right, who would like to explain next?
I'll go next. For me, I'm probably gonna end up doing something about like the incarceration rates between like before the pandemic hit and then afterwards, and how that was affected with the police and everything like that. So, yeah.
I think that's great. And so so Josh, on your competencies that you would pick, I'm guessing you will pick something like this: organize, analyze, and display data using multiple representations.
Yeah.
You may describe, if they talk about the average of anything, you could do that. And if you're talking about averages, that would be this one.
Okay.
Okay. So, but those are the 2 that I think would apply the most. And for you, V, you would probably do solving application problems involving loans. So probably this one. This one would probably be you, V. Okay, and this one would be Josh. Okay, good job. Excellent. And Josh, if you have more questions as you get into it, just feel free to ask, because that's a big rabbit hole you can go down and get real lost. So, okay, who else?
I'll go.
I can.
Oh, so many volunteers. Okay, wait, let's do Matt and then Judith. I think we're the 2 who talked. Is that right?
No, it was me. But you can go,
Ruki.
Matt.
And Ruki too. Let's do Matt first, then Judith, then Ruki. Okay.
So I'm history major, so I'm gonna look at like the inflation rates in Germany. It's like 1914 and 1923, because during the war they're like, oh, we're just gonna print more money to pay for the war. Then when we win, we'll just pay for it through the stuff we get. But they lost, so the inflation ballooned, and it became, I think, 1 Reichmark was like 3 trillion compared to like the exchange rate for American dollar. So I'm gonna look at like the inflation. So
great. So Matt, it's probably, I'm guessing it's exponential, right?
Yeah.
At that point. So yours would be this one right here, exponential growth.
I also thought it'd be kind of funny to look at like what would like putting money in like a savings account with like 1 Reichmark being worth 3 trillion American dollars, like what would that amount look like in like 10 years of something? So
nice. And so you could do that with doing these like annual percentage yield or annuity, right? With our interest. Excellent. Okay, so now I think I said Judith next, and then Ruki.
So mine is, so I want to run for office, and I want to like look at like the amount of voting in the city of Mesa. So like how many voters came out this past local election, and then kind of doing a mini like fake voting for myself. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but it's something around like voting and like seeing how many voters, like the turnout of people, and then predicting like the next upcoming election, the local election. So something in that regard. So probably organizing, or is it calculating?
Yeah, it's probably right here in organizing. Oh, I just wrote V because I read V's name. That was silly. Okay, it's probably right here for you, Judith. And it might spill over. We can, you can take a look. It might spill into some other statistics in there. And it might even go to probability, because you could say, what's the probability of me getting elected, right?
Yeah, like a little fake
Nice.
Numbers.
Excellent. Good. All right, Ruki.
My field is graphic design. So I'm planning to do from statics about graphic designer earnings by seniority, or graphic designer salary by state. I'm not sure.
Okay. And so you might still be in the same statistics area.
Yes.
And depending if you move over to finance, depending what you do with that, you could have, something out of finance as well.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. All right. Who else?
I guess I'll go.
Go for it, Zach.
So since I'm into like piano and all that sort of things, I've been looking at like doing jobs for that. But one of the ideas is that you can buy one and it will always hold that value the entire time, and you build up over time to get something that's really expensive. So I was going to see how long, if you put in a certain amount, save a certain amount, how long it would take to get to like the big thing that you wanted at the end. Because they can get to like $35,000 and way higher than that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great idea, Zach. I think you're definitely over here in finance, right?
Yeah.
How you can get things, maybe loans, we'll just have to take a look, but good job. Excellent. That's a good one. All right. Who else? Everybody has to go.
I'll go ahead if it's okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I'm going towards nursing, and I still haven't figured out which competency would be. I was thinking maybe finance module, like solve real life problems using exponential growth, but I'm not sure yet if I'm going to go towards like, am I looking at nursing in the retirement aspect on how much money I need to be putting away, because my spouse pretty much takes care of everything financially right now. So me doing nursing is just something that I want to do. I don't necessarily financially have to, because we live within our means. But we do want to use my nursing as a the income as retirement. So we want to kind of find out like, how many days a week do I need to work in order to bring in that amount of money home? Do I want to work full-time or part-time, things like that? Or I can go the route of, I don't know, maybe still stay within that competency, but figure out how to incorporate it into continuing my education, because I just got an offer from the military to continue my education to become a PA. And maybe start my own side business in like beauty and esthetician stuff. So I'm not really sure which direction I want to go yet. And I kind of want to talk to you about that and see if maybe I was digging too deep, like the rabbit hole you were talking about.
No, but you could compare those two right now too, if that's like really pertinent to your life right now, debating how much do nurses make compared to PAs, and decide, the pros and cons for each, and look at it financially, you could decide.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I think that's great. Okay, so we have Danessa, Lily, Zevi, Brady, and Annie left, right?
Yeah, I can go.
Oh,
I'll
and
go
Lee.
next.
I forgot Lee. Go ahead.
So since I'm in criminal justice, I was thinking about doing murder, which sounds a bit bad, but there's a lot of different serial killer statistics and the probability that they could strike again, and I just haven't figured out which one I want to do quite yet.
That sounds great. And Lee, just make sure that, and you might end up doing a little bit of both. You might report some statistics and then look at some probabilities. So not a bad thing. Good job. Lily.
So mine is nursing, and I was thinking of just doing finance of how much I would be getting per year. But
I think that's a great idea. And especially if you're not sure what kind of nurse you want to be, you might look at the different types of nursing.
yeah, well, I want to be a pediatric nurse.
Oh, okay. But I think there's probably some that work in hospitals, that work in doctors' offices. There's probably still a lot of variations of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, good. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay, perfect.
My field of study is dental hygiene, and I wanted to do probability, like the probability of a man and a woman having a dentist, having like the probability of them brushing their teeth. So I wanted to change it up a bit and do something like in the probability area. Just not, I don't know yet what, like where exactly, but something with probability.
That sounds awesome. I think that's great. There's so much in dental hygiene, because you could say, what's the likelihood of people even visiting the dentist if they don't have dental insurance, right? So yeah, we got a lot going on there. All right, who's left? Zevi, Danessa, Brady.
I can go.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I could do this, but I was thinking of doing something with psychology, like how effective like certain therapies are, because there's like a bunch of different types.
Oh my gosh, Danessa, if you're going into psychology, they are into so many statistics right here. You could do any of those. So just decide, you know, how specific you want to be when you look for those stats, because you could get so many stats you don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I think that's probably a stats application. And as a psychologist, you will be looking at stats all the time to determine which you want to use for that effectiveness. Good job. Excellent. All right.
I'll go.
Okay.
So I'm going into nursing, and I was thinking of doing like the finance, like what how long I'll have to work and whatnot for a retirement, or might do, because my real passion is my special effects makeup, maybe comparing the two, which one I can make more money with.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I think that sounds like a great, and you might decide once you start it, you're like, I really just want to focus on the special effects part, or I really want to focus on the nursing part. Good. Who do we have left? Brady?
Hey, after
right, what do you
talking to
think?
my advisor, I've realized my passion is to work at county fairs. So I'm going to
Nice.
hold a raffle and figure out the probability of what it takes for someone to win the raffle, and what are the odds that they don't win the raffle.
I think that sounds like a great idea. Okay, I look forward to your unique take on the county fair as a source of income and your probability of winning.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's awesome. Make sure you really get into it, because I want to know what the prize is. I want to know if there's a second prize.
I got it all figured out. Once I graduate, you know, that's my dream. That's what we're doing.
Well, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that. Okay, so I'm going to put you in some breakout rooms. I think I put you with people that have similar interests to you or similar ideas. Brady, right now you're alone. I'm just kidding. I will put you with someone else, but it's this time is for you to make sense of what's happening and to ask me questions. Okay. So, and make sure if you need help, you can get the help you need. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just moving a couple people around to where I think it would be best for them. And maybe I totally did it wrong and we can fix it. Annie, what did you say you were interested in?
Probability.
Okay. And was it nursing or dental hygiene?
Dental, yeah.
I'm like, I always think it's nursing, Annie, every time. I can't figure that out. Okay, so I'm going to open these rooms. The idea is get started now, right? You have a lot of time right now. You have 30 minutes right now to get started doing your research, getting your template ready, asking me questions. So call me into your room if you have any questions, okay? Okay, I'm going to open those up. Hello. All right. So I hope you used that time wisely, and I hope it was worthwhile to get started. I don't know about you, but when I was in college, I might have been a little bit of a procrastinator. So maybe I would wait a little bit too long to start projects, right? So getting a jump start on it 2 weeks in advance is going to just help your project be better, right? So you don't start it today and then look at it again the day before it's due. You're going to keep working on it throughout, okay? So this is just a quick exit ticket reminding me what your project is. And then a couple other things I want to remind you of. You have PF8 more payment annuities practice that's due tonight. You have a reading quiz that's due on Sunday. And then I just posted next week so you can see your finance review. So if you want to start on the finance review, you can totally do that, okay? Your finance test will come late next week, okay? Like Thursday and Friday of next week, okay? All right, otherwise, stick around if you have any questions. Make sure you do the exit ticket and have a great weekend. You can do it. We're almost there. Get that work done. Okay?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, V.